Hello, welcome back. It feels like it.
Every night the lights come on. Yeah, he's wrapped them all the way up. I think he gets bored. He just goes out there and he's got his little slingshot. He's just shooting it for himself. I think in my living yard, we hung all those movies, and now 3 of them, they're not lighting up. I feel like Sergeant Football. It's just like, well, up, come in the road.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, December 11, 2018. We're glad to have y'all here. Welcome. We're going to start off with a Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward, followed by me with the invocation. If you'll please rise.
Take the flag.
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen. Thank you. First item is to approve the agenda as presented. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Ms. Ward with a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Tinsley with a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Under presentations and delegations, tonight we are honored to recognize Mr. Robert Collier, Assistant Director of the Solid Waste Department, on his retirement after 42 years of service. Central Services Director Phil Francis will address.
Wow.
Wow is right.
There's a lot of things that I've done in the city in my 18 years of being here, and this is something that I do not want to do, and I do this under high protest. And I have every right to, as do the citizens here. The man standing next to me is not just a dear friend, but also someone that I have come to respect as much as anyone I ever have in my entire life. To me, he's forgotten more about the city than anyone in this room will ever know. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to anyone here. I've not, in all of the years working in this business, been with someone that, or worked with someone that could give me the answers when I needed them right then. If I didn't have the answers, he would get it, or knew somebody that would. When you start talking to Robert about this going on, this here and there, we need this done, and oh yeah, I know him, oh yeah, I went to school with him, oh yeah, I know his sister, oh yeah, there's not anyone that Robert doesn't know, I don't think, or has touched. The city is losing an asset that I don't think in any point in my career of doing this in the real world, the private sector, or here, that impacts me the most. 42 years is a long time, but he's earned every bit of it. Started out as what, Robert? Collector?
Refuge collector.
And then driver, and then animal control. Weren't you the mayor once, too? With a heavy heart, and also a joy that he's still going to be able to be here for the city. Born and raised here, and one of Griffin's own, and no one have I worked with that I've had more respect for. I really, really, really hate doing this. I mean, I do. It's and I am as honest as I can be. With that, I got a prize for you, and $12 that I owe you. Thanks. It says, to Robert Collier, in appreciation for over 42 years of dedicated service in the Solid Waste Division of Central Services, wishing you the best on your retirement, 1976 to 2018. That's a heap of years, my brother. It really is. And with that, I thank you for letting me work with you. I appreciate you very, very much, and I am going to miss you.
Are you already done?
No.
Have you already retired?
No, I got actually 2 more weeks. Okay. Let me say that I'm proud to have worked here, still working here, but been here all my adult life. So I'm very proud to say that I have an opportunity to retire from right here at my home. So that's the biggest deal about it. This is my home. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
You know I'm on mission.
Yes.
We're all going to miss you. You're the best of the best, Mr. Collier, and God bless you.
I'm going to still tell you when you call me, I'm going to say call Robert.
Call Robert. I don't even call you, I just call Robert.
I already gave him that ultimatum. He wasn't going to get this. You know how much this cost? No. But he's already said that he's going to be able to be there for us, and because you can't walk away. It's in your blood, man.
I'm just a phone call away, seriously.
Thank you.
Don't tell him that. Hey, you got to take it. You got to get a picture.
Oh, okay.
Hold your stomach in.
Come up.
What's above you? Hold your stomach. Look at my glasses. I'll hold the water. Get pretty good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, you can carry it.
Item 2 is to recognize the 2018 Model Water Tower winners. Alexa Robinson, Watershed Protection Specialist, will address. Good evening, Alexa.
Good evening. How are you guys
Great,
doing?
Thank you.
So the Model Water Tower, you think, what in the world is that? This is a competition that the Water and Wastewater Department has been doing for 4 years. And it is a fascinating competition because you take these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders and you say, we want you to build a working water tower. Not only build it, but we want you to understand how your water towers work in reality. So they learn all the background knowledge that they need for these water towers. And then they come in and they take from scraps, recycled stuff, anything they can find in their dad's garage, and they put one together, and then it has to work. They have to be able to fill it, and it has to be able to drain, and they get timed, and it has to be a certain size. But the exciting part is that they bring that together, and then they put their creative spin on it, they decorate it, and they make it their own. So these students, they worked very hard to come up with a great design, but also something that they knew would be the most efficient and effective design. So I would like to, Barbara King from the Spalding County School System and I would like to recognize Hannah Owens. Come on up, my dear. Yeah, you can bring that, my dear. And Avery Thompson as our first place and our second place winners of the Model Water Tower competition. So, as a token of our appreciation and their earned prize, as our first place winner, Hannah has won $300. Thank you. And Avery, for our second place winner, has gotten $200. Excellent. So what we hope from this is that these young people will take this knowledge and they'll go forward even more and go into engineering and mathematics and all the amazing things that they can accomplish. So thank you very much for letting me come forward and present them. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
I'll hold this for you. One more. Hold that, please. Place these two. Right here. I'll be right here.
Thank you, Alexa, for your work with the school system. I hear great reports of what you're doing with the kids, and very commendable. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Item 3 is recognize Kyle Bradford, Patrol Officer with the Public Police Department, as the November 2018 Strongest Link Award recipient. Police Chief Mike Yates will address. Well, good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. Of course, y'all know we do our monthly Strongest Link nomination, and in this particular case, one of Kyle Bradford's supervisors sent me a memo commending him on his good work and what have you, and we try to do that occasionally, but once I got to reading the details of it, it was really quite astounding. So he just came straight from SWAT school, so we're a little dirty and stuff like that today, but that's okay. Kyle's been with us a fairly short period of time. We sent him to the police academy last year, and he did well. He came out, actually finished his field training program quite ahead of schedule. He has some experience as a military police officer and has served his country well, so we like to tease him about being a rookie, but I don't really know how accurate that actually is. But just in his first few months by himself, his productivity and numbers and things of that are really quite astounding. But I think the thing that brought him to my attention the most, and perhaps his peers and supervisors, was his willingness to help out other people in the department. And in his off time, his off days, any hour of the day, he volunteers with the cage unit, narcotics, SWAT. If somebody's short on a shift, he's the first one to say, I'll be happy to come do it. So it's not any one thing. it's a lot of things. I think he's a good example of hopefully where we're taking the police department in the future with some of the younger folks that we're hiring, and he certainly set an excellent example for the rest of them, and I'm proud to bring him here today and recognize him as our strongest link. Mr. Smith has already, he came to our department Christmas party and bestowed the chain and et cetera on him, so we've already embarrassed him pretty good one time already. But having said that, I do want to give you this strongest link plaque. And Miles told me to find out what your favorite restaurant was, because he's got a gift certificate for that too. But congratulations. Thank you. We got to get a picture. I think I had to make him come. So.
Thank you, Mr. Bradford, and thank you for all of our uniformed officers for your sacrifice for our community. Item 4 is to recognize Department Director Dr. Brent Keller, Phil Francis, Dan Thompson for their assistance in the construction of Griffin Fire Rescue Emergency Preparedness Training Center. Fire Chief Tommy Jones will address. Good evening, Chief.
Commissioners, good evening. Thank you so much for allowing the opportunity to do this before the end of the year. In 2004, when I was named interim fire chief by Mr. Smith, I went to him in the first 2 weeks of that time and told him we had a little problem, and the problem was we don't have anywhere to train. Most of you recall we had a small block building behind the old fire station number 2 that had to be condemned and tore down about 20 years ago. So we've been basically daybarring and stealing locations to train. We identified a piece of property that the city of Griffin owned on Industrial Drive that was actually, we found out, was an old landfill. So we approached Kenny about this, and he said, go for it if you can make it work. At that time, I called my good friend Phil Francis in. I said, Phil, we had an old landfill here, and before we start building anything, we got to know we can actually use this piece of property. So Phil came to the rescue for us and got us our EPD clearance and got us going. As you know, a training center basically is made up of a lot of different components, and ours are probably one of the most advanced ones you'll see for a department our size anywhere. It will include a burn building, an automobile extrication area, trench rescue, confined space trailer, and many other components. But one of the main components of this training center, of any training center, is basically a tower. A tower is very expensive. If we were to hire someone to come and build us basically a metal tower, which is sort of an industry standard, we're looking at a minimum of $475,000, basically out of reach. The beautiful part of this property we got is we had absolutely no money to get started with this. And to help out with this, Dan Thompson approached me about a collaborative effort about splitting the property, fire training center, and a place to move his lineman's rodeo training area from the airport when we do have to sell that property. So Dan brought a few bucks with him to the project, and we had a little seed money to get going. And our other dear friend, Dr. Brent Keller, brought his public works crew over there, actually cleared the property, started paving, started pouring pads, and we're off to the races. Now earlier we had a big cookout for his public works crew, and I thank them, but I want to ask Brent and Phil and Dan to come up here. I had a little small token for them. I've already given it to them, so come on up, guys. And I want to officially thank them for what they've done. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at probably, when you see our facility, when it's done, again, it's a work in progress, you're looking at something that's probably could cost millions to build. And as of right now, if you knew the dollar amount we have in what you see out there now, you would be extremely impressed, and because you are very accountable to the public for what's been done. But this has been done because of these 3 gentlemen, and I want to thank them very much from the bottom of our heart. Oh yeah, right. That's his hat now. That was tainted. Thank you for their help in this project. So let's welcome them. Thank them. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And also, while we were here, a few other angels came to our rescue on this. I'd like to ask Bob Wangle. Bob? Bob, would you come up? I want to introduce you to Bob Wangle. Bob is an architect with Koppers, formerly Osmos. This guy right here heard about the project, and he just absolutely came out of nowhere. And he has been involved with public safety agencies before, helping them with some projects. And this guy saw the 6 poles that were stuck in the ground that Dan put there, and said, "Man, we can build you a beautiful tower." He secured the donation of about $40,000 worth of pressure-treated lumber, did architectural drawings, helped us through all the approval process, and has been available just about 24 hours a day to oversee the construction of this project. The project is being constructed as we speak because of a collaboration with the Department of Corrections. Our local ward, Mr. Humphreys, recommended a statewide construction crew who would come in with inmate labor to build the tower. And for the past couple of months, those guys have been out there working like crazy. A great bunch of guys. We've been feeding them some lunch and doing the best we could, but they have built us a beautiful tower. We're getting close to the end of completion. And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Stan Shepard. Stan, would you come up? Stan is with the supervisor of the inmate crew. He lives in Dublin, but he's been staying up here during the week, during deer season, so he loves to hunt deer. But he has done a great job working with the architect. These guys have been working great together. And Stan actually loves to sing gospel music. So this may be the only time he comes to the commission meeting. So I wanted to present him a nice little cross here with the fire department emblem in it, and to reflect his passion for gospel music and his service. So Stan, thank you so much. But thank you so much. But anyway, in short order, you will see a dedication of the tower next year, and then we have something for Bob for that day. We'll recognize him that day. But if you get a chance, ride by Industrial Drive and see what we're doing. It is a dream come true, and it is going to be something you're all going to be very proud of. So,
thank you, Chief.
Thanks for the opportunity to recognize them tonight.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. Okay. Appreciate it.
Next will be review financial reports for October 2018. Chief Financial Officer Marcus Schwab will address. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. All right, we'll look at the financials, the cash balance report. Any questions? Okay. The local option sales tax report. Tracking as scheduled.
Yes, sir.
And the SPLOST collections report. Any questions?
No, sir.
How about the interim statements by fund?
Looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.
Moving into citizens' comments. At this time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to specific agenda items not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or the concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or staff for resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my left side like to come before the commission? Anybody on my left side? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Good evening.
Well, good evening. My name is Ray House Muhammad. My address is 557 North 2nd Street, Griffin, Georgia, 30223. First of all, let me say, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for allowing me to come forward to the commissioners. Our illustrious city manager over there. I'm burdened with a task of representing a couple of people that are always at my home and wanting to ask a few questions about the park on the east side of Griffin. I've been posting quite a bit on Facebook about the park. So I've been talking to a few people, and I wanted to come before the board. These are the ones that make the decisions as to what goes on in the city of Griffin. So we know that there's a park on every other side of town, I think, in their city limits. And I just want to ask the board, our commission's not here, what is the progress of getting a park on the east side? When is that going to take place? How did that process work? And the reason why I'm asking the questions to the board is because I'm going to go after I leave here and going to go to another meeting and address a few people as to what you're telling me here, so we can get a better understanding as to why we don't have a park, are we going to get a park, and what's the holdup in getting the park. From my understanding, there's money allocated in the budget to build the park, land swap this. I don't understand the politics because I'm not a politician, but I'm a concerned citizen.
Yes, sir.
That I would like, and then going to the class, thank you, Kenny, for allowing me to be in that class, because I learned quite a bit from that class. But I just want, and Commissioner Tinsley, I just want to know when the park going to get built. Are we going to get a park? When it's going to start? And what do we, the citizens, have to do to help push that process?
To give you the short answer, the park is in the budget. It's been in the budget. The ideal spot to put the park is on land that's probably not owned at this time at the city, and so there has to be a negotiation with the property owner to possibly do a land swap, possibly through the Land Bank Authority. But to get all the pieces and the ducks in the road to make it work, we're close, but we've just got to get all the players together and make it work.
I guess my last thing, is there anything we the citizens can do to help push that process?
Just show our support for
Thank you. That's all we need, and we'll do that.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Is there anybody else on my left who'd like to come before the board? Anybody on my right like to come before the board? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, everyone. I know most of you. Dr. Yashonda Jones, 1687 Summerwood Circle. I just wanted to come up and speak about the park as well. I want to apologize to Commissioner Cynthia Reed Ward as well as Commissioner Cora Flowers, because this whole situation has been a process that's led to a lot of slander and defamation from some individuals as it relates to social media. I'm speaking on behalf of the majority of the citizens who are intelligent enough to actually do their research and understand what's going on with the process as far as the park is involved. You have that support as well. They know that things do not happen overnight, and there is a process that is involved in that. So I just wanted to make you aware that we do know what's going on. Everyone understands that, and we're backing you 100% with that particular process. And I just wanted to put that out there, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Is there anybody else on my left? Is there anybody else on my left side that'd like to come before the board? Is there anybody on my right side that'd like to come before the board? Okay. Moving into public hearings.
Got one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please come forward. You're going the wrong way.
I'll go ahead over there. That's all over.
Good evening. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Kim Williams, 502 South 6th Street. I would like to know where I could locate the information about how our electric company is financially structured as a company.
I'll be glad to set up a meeting with you and Mr. Thompson. And we.
You don't know off the top of your head, is it an LLC, an incorporation, is it a nonprofit, stockholder?
It's just a department of the city of Griffin.
It's an enterprise fund, just like water, wastewater, stormwater.
So it's not like a legitimized company that's located with the state?
No.
No?
No, ma'am.
So it's just a funding department from within the city itself?
It's an asset owned by the citizens of the city of Griffin.
So we own it?
It's our power. We have our own generation. We have our own, everything. It's our own business.
But we're not stockholders?
As shareholders of the city of Griffin, you are a shareholder in a roundabout way. We're all shareholders.
So do we have dividends this year? Like, how much money did we make?
So about $8 million was transferred to the general fund from that fund to offset the cost for policing, public works. So it's an enterprise fund that generates revenue to offset the cost of running government, just like the water wastewater department.
So it becomes a slush fund for the general fund?
It's part of our funding stream to run our government, just like property tax, sales tax, business occupational tax.
So did it just become a tax? Because you listed it with a bunch of taxes.
No, I'm talking about, our general fund is funded by multiple different revenue streams, from property tax to utility funds to grants.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not an actual company.
It is.
It's a revenue stream.
It is a enterprise fund for the city of Griffin.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We're still open for citizens' comment. Is there anybody else on my right side like to come before the board? Okay. Moving into public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comments on specific advertised issues, such as rezoning ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. We've got one public hearing tonight is to receive comments regarding an amended request for a variance from the City of Griffin Unified Development Code to reduce the side yard setback from 10 feet to 5.5 feet for lot 53 and 10 feet to 5.4 feet for lot 54 located in Summerwood, Phase 3. Planning and Development Service Director Toussaint Kirk will address. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes, sir. This is an amended request of the original request we heard back in September. The owners still want to do the reduction in setbacks, what have you, but there's two conditions that will help govern this. One would be that replat would need to be done to accommodate the reduction, and also the second part of that condition is that a parking lot would be constructed for the HOA to utilize. I think it's for their clubhouse. Yes, sir. And so basically the owner and the HOA have come to an agreement.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board at this time? This is a public hearing at this time. Would anybody like to speak for or against or have any questions regards to this agenda item? Anybody on my left side? Anybody on my right side? Nobody from the HOA here? I don't believe so.
They sent a letter. They sent a letter to email and stuff, so, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. We have the consent agenda, items 7 through 13. Do we want to take them all as a group?
Make a motion we approve items 7 through 13.
Mr. McCord made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Ward with a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Moving into the regular agenda, item 14 is consider an amended request for a variance from the City of Griffin Unified Development Code to reduce the side yard setbacks from 10 feet to 5.5 feet for lot 53 and 10 feet to 5.4 feet for a lot 54 located in Summerwood Phase 3. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. McCord with a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Mr. Tinsley with a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. All against, like sign. 5-0. Approval. Item 15, consider on first reading amending Code of Griffin, Chapter 74, Article 2, Section 74-38, classifications of commercial industrial customers. Phil Francis, Central Service. Will
make a motion to approve.
Mr. McCord with a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Murray with a second. Any questions or discussion? I want to thank you, Phil, for your work, and Jessica, thank you all. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Item 16 is consider a mutual aid and assist agreement between the City of Griffin and Spalding County Sheriff's Department. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Ms. Ward with a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Item 17, consider a lease agreement between the City of Griffin and Ellis Cycle LLC for the property located at 122 West Bank Street in the amount of $500 per month for the term of December 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. Do we have a motion to approve the lease?
So moved.
Mr. McCord with a motion to approve the lease. Do we have a second? Ms. Ward with a second. And this will give them time to relocate from that address?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Item 18 to consider the closing of city administrative offices for Monday, December 31st, 2018, and allotting an additional holiday for employees. Do we have a motion to make a long weekend?
Make a motion. Second.
Ms. Ward with a motion. Second, Ms. Murray. Any questions or comments? All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Moving into the city manager's report, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir. Just an addendum to Mr. Schwab's report. If you noticed, our SPLOST collections are running about 4% above projections at this point in our collections. We're about $337,000 over our projections as of the September report, which is a very good thing.
September, October.
I think it's September. At least on the sheet I have, it's September. I'm not sure if we've got October in yet or not. But that's a good thing, especially considering the remodeling of old City Hall is running a little bit over budget. We got word this afternoon late that our 6th GMA safety and liability grant for $10,000 has been approved. So congratulations to risk manager Mr. Poole and the safety team for the good work there. Several departments are having their little gatherings for Christmas celebrations, so keep that in mind as you get invitations they'd love for you to stop by. I think there's a couple of them tomorrow even, so if you're out and about. Remember, the reception for County Chairman Raymond Ray is Thursday at 3 p.m. at the Senior Center. Also on your calendar, GDOT is going to hold a public information session here in this room on the 19th from 5 to 7, taking comments on the scoping project at what we call the 5 Points intersection at Solomon and Searcy. So they've got some potential configurations there. So we'll invite the public to make sure they come by here and see those. And for the record, the Spalding County Election Superintendent has certified the results of the runoff election, which was held on the 4th of this month. Those two races, Secretary of State, won by Raffensperger and Public Service Commission, won by Eaton, and both of those have been certified as the result. So that's done. And finally, remember board appointments. This is the last meeting for this year. However, right after Christmas, first of the year, the first is on a Tuesday, so that means the second Tuesday is 7 days later. So we'll have a quick turnaround time to get all of our board appointments and everything ready for that first meeting in the new year. January the 4th at noon is the deadline for nominations for board appointments, so we'll be working on that the rest of this month. So, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Whalen.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you for your service. Mr. McCord.
First, I'd like to recognize School Board Elect District 1, Mr. Centel Brown is here tonight. Special thanks to Chief Yates for coming out on this past Saturday. Was a very good panel to discuss ignorance is no excuse. We had the chief of police, we had the sheriff, we had a high school counselor, and also an attorney/judge that was there to talk about issues with the police department, issues with kids in school, and understanding the law and just getting a better grasp on that. And I think we need to probably, I talked to Dr. Jones and to Reginald Watts about setting up maybe more throughout the year, and not just the ignorance is no excuse, but some other issues, maybe housing, utilities, things of that nature, so people get a better understanding of what's going on. So once again, kudos to Chief for coming out on this past Saturday, and congrats to our former City of Griffin resident Arthur M. Blank for winning the MLS Cup in Atlanta on this past Saturday as well. So that's it. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Ms. Murray.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. City of Griffin looks beautiful for everyone who helped to decorate downtown. I drove through City Park last night. To me, that is the most beautiful tree in town with all of the lights. Thanks, Dr. Keller, for everything you do for the downtown, well, parks and everything. And Merry Christmas, everyone, and hope to see you all back New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Tinsley.
I would like to congratulate Mr. Collier on his retirement from the city. 42 years is a very long time, almost as long as I've been alive. Also,
Holly was.
all of us?
I was
Not
just
Rod.
bored.
Rod's not older than me. And to the young people who've already left and did the water tower thing, $500 is split between them is pretty good. I hope they reimburse their dad for the stuff they took out of their garage to build those water towers. And to Brant, Phil, Dan, those guys helping out there with the fire burn center. That's great. Kudos to you guys. So, and, just like to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and see you guys next year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thanks. To the news media, thank y'all for being here and taking your time to coverage. We appreciate the positive spin in terms of what Griffin is all about, and we appreciate it. To staff and to the citizens, God bless y'all. Thank you for everything. And to this board, I just want to thank you, even though sometimes we seem like a dysfunctional family. This is a true honor to work with y'all because we all have the heart for Griffin, and we're here to make it the best it can be. And God bless y'all. Merry Christmas. Do we have a motion to
Make a motion that we adjourn.
We have a motion from Mr. McCord, a second from Ms. Ward. All in favor, please rise. It was 37 minutes. I was right the first time. You said 47.
Always not too bad.